Hello, YouTube. Let's have a quick chat. So, you're having medical or mental health issues that are interfering with your job, but you are not currently at full time. Excuse the gum and the kitty. This is rather impromptu because it is fitting something that I am currently maneuvering in my own life. If you are full time, you can qualify for FMLA, either leave for a period or intermittent leave. If you do not qualify for FMLA because of your hours worked, you have to work a certain number of hours. And part time does not fill the hours qualification. There are things that you can do, one of which is an ADA, Americans with Disabilities Association accommodation. If you have a physical health condition or a mental health condition that is interfering with your ability to work, and an accommodation could be made, a reasonable accommodation could be made to help make your job more doable, you can ask for this accommodation. Now, your work has the right to ask for this piece of paper. This piece of paper is titled Medical Inquiry Form in Response to an Accommodation Request. Even if they have documentation, because it is your right to disclose your illness with your employer, it's not their right to ask, but even if they have documentation of your illness, they do not have to provide you the accommodation. They can do it automatically, or they can ask for medical documentation inquiry form for your accommodation request, and you'll have to then take that piece of paper to your doctor, a medical clinician or mental health clinician, and verify that a particular type of accommodation would be beneficial for your condition given your job situation, your particular situation. So you are not up creek without a paddle. American with Disabilities Association, by law, companies are required to provide reasonable accommodations. So once you fill out a medical, if they do not give it to you automatically, and they have to be disclosed of your illness before it reaches a point where you would get fired, and you've disclosed and they know you have an illness that's interfering with your job now, but you don't qualify for FMLA, you can pursue an accommodation. If they refuse your accommodation and they ask for medical documentation, you get a medical inquiry form in response to an accommodation request, have your doctor fill it out, bring it in. My workplace then denied me, saying I was not eligible for FMLA, which I kindly responded back to them that they cannot by law do that because I was not applying for FMLA. I was applying for an accommodation, and kindly asked them to reread the request in regard to accommodation because it is verified by doctor that I need this accommodation and I'm legally allowed to ask for an accommodation. If they determine it to be unreasonable, please inform me why it is unreasonable, and then we can go from there to see what else could be done. So you do have recourse, you do have options. If they determine that it is an unreasonable accommodation, you can ask for an explanation why it is unreasonable, because it has to be an unreasonable expectation for them to deny you. Otherwise, your accommodation must be met. And so I'm waiting to hear back from the email from that, and we will take it from there. Well, that is one of a few options. If you are unaware that as a part-time employee you have rights, if you have illnesses that are interfering with your ability to keep your job temporarily, don't let it go on too long. Don't let it get to the point where your job is at risk and then you inform them that you have a problem. You must inform them provide them documents, provide them proof, and then if it's getting to a point where it does interfere with your job and you are only a part-time worker, you still have protections through the Americans with Disabilities Act as long as your ask for an accommodation is reasonable. And I will link below to the ADA website. And the form is, first you inform them. Second step, you inform them that you would like an accommodation, specify the accommodation. If they deny your request, ask for a medical inquiry form in response to an accommodation request, take that to your doctor, have your doctor fill out the request. If they deny it based on FMLA or anything other than it being unreasonable, they can't do that. If they deny it being unreasonable, ask for an explanation of how and why it is unreasonable, and then go from there. You may be able to modify your accommodation, seek other accommodations, or seek a period of medical or psychiatric leave temporarily, directly medically necessary or psychiatrically necessary from your doctors. Those are some other options. But I will keep you posted on this, and I just wanted, because I've made FMLA information in the past about having conditions and keeping your job, I wanted to give you this info of my process that I'm currently undergoing, so that you would know that even if you're part-time, you are not FUBAR'd. You do have rights, you do have options. So that's how that works. Love you guys. Good morning. Goodbye.